Hello there, I'm back. I'm Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, sharing some insights about the lunations with you all. And today I am here to talk about the new moon. So we have a new moon coming on the 27th of May 2025. Now this might vary. It might be the 26th of May, depending where you are. But it is a new moon, nevertheless, in Gemini to all of us. So a new moon at 6 degrees Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini energy in the sky, in fact, during this new moon. So we've got big Gemini energy for this new cycle, for the new intentions that we can set. So right after the full moon, the intensity and transformation of the full moon in Scorpio, we are inviting to set intentions and plant new seeds connected to the sign of Gemini. So big Gemini energy, as I've mentioned. We've got Mercury, the Sun and the Moon, as well as Jupiter, all in Gemini. So there's quite a bit of Gemini going on in the sky. There are a few aspects, obviously, as usual, that I want to share with you, which are relevant to the chart, the whole astrological chart of this new moon. And that reflects to us what kind of potentials this new moon has. It's not just about the sign of Gemini. There is more. There are other configurations here giving us clues about what are the particularities of this new moon in Gemini, of these new seeds that we're going to be planting. So we'll talk about some of these aspects. And this new moon is a very fresh one because we have quite a lot of newness associated to this new moon. And I'll tell you why. I mean, there are planets that have recently shifted into new signs, and they're going to be there. They're going to be featuring in this new moon. And there is a lot of yang energy as well. There is a lot of masculine energy here in the planetary positions for this new moon in Gemini too. And that does say something. That does say that the seeds that we're planting can be about creative expression a lot more than security-driven seeds, which would be much more connected with earth or water signs, right? But we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And as usual, obviously, I like to start the discussion and the conversation with the Sabian symbol. So the Sabian symbol for 6 degrees Gemini is a well with bucket and rope under the shade of majestic trees. So I'm going to say it again. A well with bucket and rope under the shade of majestic trees. Now that is another imagery that I really like. I love the majestic trees, that's for sure. I think the majestic trees as an imagery gives us a real sense of groundedness. So grounding the new ideas, grounding the new ways of communicating, etc. Some of the things that Gemini stands for. So I think the majestic trees really brings a dose of earth to this degree of Gemini. And to this new moon, to this new cycle. We can have new ideas and do nothing with it. Isn't it wonderful? Maybe that's because I'm a Virgo, but isn't it wonderful to be able to have new ideas and apply them and actually do something with them? I think that's very exciting. So majestic trees bring that element of earth. It also symbolizes life, growth, strength, wisdom, obviously a connection to nature. And from Jungian psychology and perspective, the trees can also symbolize inner transformation. We talk about the tree of life, right? So that idea of growth and life in there as well. So the tree is definitely saying that the seeds can really grow into something. They really have a potential here for growth. Now the imagery of the well is another one that I really love. Wells always make me think about wishing wells. Wells where we chuck, a little coin or something, and we make wishes to, which is, promising. But the symbolism of the well in general is also connected to the female womb. The female womb creates life, right? Obviously, there's deep wisdom in the female womb, or in the womb. Full stop. It doesn't have to be female or male or whatever. But the womb has wisdom. And the womb is where life is created and generated and nurtured as well. So again, there is that sense of new ideas being in the oven and being nurtured, and creativity involved in the picture here as well. The well is usually where divine encounters and revelations happen in mythical stories. Is also source of life. So again, we got life with the trees, we got life with the well, and cleansing. The wells can be a place of cleansing and purification, but also, again, together with the imagery for the womb, is a place of fertility and abundance. So this new moon, Gemini, carries that signature, carries that imagery with itself for fertility, the possibility for something growing, for something turning into the majestic trees eventually, right? It can be connected to inner transformation, etc. But this sapient symbol is a wonderful one for this big Gemini energy new moon. Now, obviously, Gemini is a sign that's connected to dualities, is a sign that's connected with finding common ground amongst opposites, communicating between opposites, between different sides, different ideas, different visions, right? Gemini rules the limbs and everything that divides into two. So there is something about that as well. We can embrace that in this new cycle. A new moon in Gemini is a wonderful new cycle to start learning something new, to dedicate ourselves to a new subject, something that we've always wanted to, didn't have time to dedicate, or didn't take action somehow for some reason. So it's a wonderful time to start that. And whatever it is that we start here, with the imagery of the well, I think there is a lot of potential for fertility and growth in connection to these new ideas, new mindsets, new ways of thinking, new ways of expressing ourselves, right? Are there any trouble with your communication, the way you communicate? That can be intentions connected to healing that, right? So there is something there with this new moon in Gemini. In terms of the aspects, this new moon in Gemini forms a trine to Pluto. So I think this can be representing the continuation of that full moon Scorpio energy when we got in touch with deeper emotions and practiced some of that transformation. And the new moon in trine to Aquarius is saying, hey, we can continue that process. We can really set intentions that will be harmoniously working with the Pluto transformations that we're already going through. So putting things into practice, or even integrating that intellectually as well, in the way that we think and the way that we express ourselves verbally. So this new moon is in trine to Gemini. Now, as I said in the beginning, there's a lot of fresh energy in this during this new moon. There's a lot of fresh energy. There's a lot of yang energy as well. The only placements in more yin receptive energy will be the lunar nodes and Uranus at 27 degrees Taurus. Everything else is in fire and air signs. We've got Saturn and Neptune very close to each other already in Aries. This is a big thing. And the Saturn-Neptune coming close together just reinforces the idea of a very powerful new cycle. And this new moon is aligned with it. It's forming a sextile to that Saturn-Neptune. So we can really move ahead here. Set intentions connected to moving ahead. Mars is in Leo. Venus is in Aries. Right? So there's a lot of that fire, air energy. There are trines in fire, sextiles between fire and air, trines in air. We can really express ourselves more creatively with the fiery energy and align our minds and our communication with the air trines and sextiles here as well. Take action on new ideas. Fresh new beginnings is really strongly represented in these charts. So new energy available to us. So really use this new moon and this new energy available to set intentions that you really want to see grow, right? New teachings, new subjects, new ideas, new writings, all of that is there in a mixture for you. So that's it. I'm wishing you all a wonderful, magical new moon, Gemini, and an exciting one as well. And I will be speaking to you all soon. So take care. Much love. Bye-bye.